Hi, I'm Doyle Ward. All the answers that we seek can be found within. It seems that we spend an enormous amount of time looking for the answers outside of ourselves. But the truth is, what we believe about life is the reality for us. So therefore, all the answers that we seek are found within. You know, a lot of people want to find the love of their life or improve relationships so they feel like they're in love again. So I help people get in touch with that. And then I do lots of empowerment classes.
Let's talk about the relationship quadrant here. When you work with a couple, so you work with couples often?
Occasionally. I usually work with them independently.
They come in separately to get their act together and then it works. But what is the dynamic in working with a couple that you think would be the most important thing to get started with?
Communication. That's it. Number one thing, communication.
So if you're going to be in a relationship, are you saying that we have to talk?
Well, there has to be some kind of effective communication. Lots of people talk.
Well, that's kind of a deal breaker with a lot of people.
It can be.
I'm sorry, that got me all upset. So, yeah, I was once involved with a gentleman that said, he really, really liked me, but if it was going to have to come to a talk.
Well, and people are afraid of communication. They like what you're saying. He's like, well, if we have to chit chat, forget it, right? But it's because they don't know how to do it effectively. Because
and it's painful sometimes, isn't it?
Well, it can be. It can be.
So communication.
But it can be very healing.
It can be.
It can be very healing.
Yeah, I know people who come into a situation where they really want to look at the relationship and at each other's role in the relationship. Everyone's pretty nervous about that when they come in, right? Right.
And
you set them right at ease.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people come in and it's like, it's their fault or it's my fault or there's something going on here where
guilt, blame.
Yeah, so they come in and they're nervous because they think that
you're going to
something's
validate
going on. Right. And I don't take that approach at all. In fact, I'm only seeing the perfection of the relationship when they come in, the perfection of the individuals in the relationship. So I'm always looking for the potential, not for whatever it is that they believe about it. Because what they believe about it is where they're at now.
Well, I just have to say, Doyle, that all the times that I've seen you interacting with others, and, we've crossed paths several times in the last 2 years, you do that all the time. You always approach every conversation, every meeting, every time that I've seen you in the public setting or in a private setting. You are always empowering everyone around you, and people just feel good around you. That's very, very real. I think that if I was having trouble with the relationship or something with myself, you would be one of my first choices. Because you do have a spirit, a sense that comes from you. I'm feeling it right now. That is calming and spiritually based. And that's not an accident. You've worked for years on that, haven't you?
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
I mean it.
I have been doing my own self-work for a long time. I got started early in my teenage years working on different things. And, everything that I offer to folks is something that I've been through myself. It's not just a theory, it's something I've actually done. Of changing my thinking, hypnosis, that kind of stuff. I do a lot of grief work with folks as well. And I've done my own work in that. I've actually done the work, so I know that it worked for me. So I know that it will work for other folks,
and
too.
And the pitfalls and how people feel. Because people do, these desperate feelings that you keep buried deep down inside, when they start to come up, you have to really trust who you're with.
Right.
And
I work to create a safe environment for that. I'm not ever going to judge or analyze or try to fix anybody, right? So my style is to help you realize what is best for you, but you're the one making those decisions. I'm not fixing you.
So you teach
I'm
empowerment.
Teaching you how to fix whatever it is yourself. You're getting in touch with who you are and then making informed, healthy decisions moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, so it's all about empowerment. I don't want to do all the work for you. I can't do it, in fact. Only you can improve your life. I can't. I can give you ideas. I can teach you things maybe that I know. But essentially in our working relationship, when I'm working with folks, we're equals.
I see. That's wonderful. So tell me a little bit about your grief work. We haven't really hit on that much, but that's a big part of your business, isn't it?
It's very important. I'm not a therapist, but I am an educator. So what I do is a process of working with folks to take a look at things related to grief and loss, which we all have. Every single person has some kind of loss in their lives. And
so this extends beyond just personal loss of a person.
Absolutely,
it could be loss of a job, loss of a
loss of a relationship, loss of trust, loss of the life you're never going to have. So loss of ideas.
That's important.
Loss of pets. I mean, it can be, there's people think grief, they think death and, that kind of thing. But it goes beyond that. We lose all kinds of things, things that happen early on in our lives, lose the big game. And that can have a lifelong impact if you,
the one that dropped the ball.
That kind of thing, right.
I'm glad I never played sports.
Mm-hmm. We lose jobs, we lose careers, or, we think we're going to have a certain life and then we don't.
Yeah, that's long been a theory of mine, that this whole menopause thing for women is that at that time of life is usually when they've given up on having their marriage go better, they've given up on a lot of different things, and their children leave. To me, that kind of stimulates the endocrine problem, because very few people, when they hit that midpoint of life, can say, I've got everything I ever wanted. Do you get people like that?
You know what? That's interesting that you say that. I have a very healthy clientele, and I have probably over half are people that are beyond that age, are kind of going into that, and they're starting to rediscover who they are now. So it does feel like things sort of come to an end, I think, for some.
Yeah.
But then it's also a new beginning.
It should be a new beginning.
It's a new beginning.
That midlife crisis is actually a pretty good thing, because you can totally change your life. I mean, look at Louise Hay, who you've done a lot of work with Louise Hay, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's part of my training, right.
Is that the grief training part of it?
No, that's the life coaching.
Okay. So what part of your business is Louise Hay based?
Well, I mean, I use all the techniques.
I see.
I'm a licensed life coach in the philosophies of Louise Hay, and I also am a grief recovery specialist. So it's two different things, but they work together.
Well, she just put out, it was her birthday about 3 weeks ago, and I believe she was 86.
86.
86, and she said that the 80s, the decade of the 80s, have been her best decade. Now, that's the kind of thought processes I want to keep at the forefront of my mind. Because when I was growing up, you were, done at 40.
Yeah, well, it's not true anymore. Well, no.
Well, I do. And if I was over at 40, this would have been a pretty bad last few years.
Yeah, well, you know what? Life is beginning.
Yes, life begins.
In every moment that you are breathing and alive and conscious.
Yes.
Okay? So, if you adapt that mindset, then it doesn't matter what age you are. They're just numbers. That's it. It's how you feel and what you choose to be. It's how you feel. It's what you want to think about. Do you want this to be, the best year of your life, the best decade of your life, the best day of your life? Or are you over 40 and it's over now and forget it?
Yeah, that would be habitual thinking that would need an appointment with the Doyle.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So what is, tell me just briefly, we have about 5 minutes here, an inspirational story or something that you want our listeners to hold tight until they can come to your affirmation meeting at the Spectrum Center.
Well, just know that it's never too late. It's never too late. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. In fact, it's gone, and we can't get it back. What matters is what we choose to do right now in this moment, what we choose to think about, what we choose to tell ourselves about our lives, what we choose to focus on. That is what we're getting in life. And so, all we have is right now.
Right now is the thing.
Right now. So, you can choose to focus on the past and, all the stuff that happened before and live in the past, or you can worry about the future, right?
Well, that's a good choice, too.
Yeah, sure. Just spin out of control worrying about things that almost never happen.
They don't, do they?
Not usually. And when they do, they're never as bad as you think they are.
They really
most
aren't.
of the time. But we spend a lot of time, living in a dream of the past or the future. We spend very little time right now in the present, which is all we have. We have today, right now.
And right now is pretty good, isn't it?
It's excellent.
Doyle, you've been a pleasure today.
Thank you.
Doyle Ward, and that's blissfulquest.com.
Yes.
And I really, really appreciate your time today. I want you to know that, and your teachings. This is Gems of Wisdom. I'm Teresa Maroon. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm glad our paths have crossed, and may all of your journeys be joyful. See you next week.